Hang out and hustle. Hang out and hustle. Hang out and hustle with my friends. Yeah.
We're here with my big bro, Keith Cochrane, legendary in the skate industry, very legendary. My man here, fuck, where do I start? Venture trucks, think skateboards, fucking shit. Introduced hip hop to skateboarding. My big brother showed up to my 40th birthday, which was a big thing for me. Anyway, Keith Cochrane, let's get it in. So,
You gonna die?
yeah.
You need CPR, I'm not giving it to you.
I know y'all asked what I wouldn't want that kiss. So how'd you get your start in the skate industry, Keith?
The actual industry part, I was going to school. I just graduated high school and I was going to Skyline Junior College. And my mom said, if I don't get a job, I'm gonna get kicked the fuck out. So, back up a second, my senior year of high school, I got a drunk driving and lost my driver's license. And had been skating for years before that, had stopped skating for a couple years because I was surfing all the time. I was living down at the beach. And I needed a way to get to the beach to go surfing. So I went and bought another skateboard and was skating to the beach, back and forth. Fast forward, during the time, got my license back. This is gonna be a long, drawn-out story. Before I got my license, one day I was skating home and I heard da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da. I was like, I know that fucking sound. Someone's got a fucking ramp. I peeked over this fucking fence and these kids had a half pipe in their backyard. And I was like, hey man, can I skate with you fuckers? And they're like, yeah. So I started skating with these guys and it totally got me charged back on skateboarding again. And the kid who owned the ramp, he had called me one day and he goes, hey man, there's a skateboard contest at the Boys Club in San Francisco.
Oh shit.
And my mom can't drive me. Can you give me a ride? Because I had my license back by that time. And I was still skating his ramp and stuff, having fun. I go, yeah, as long as your mom says it's cool. Yeah. Kid's name was Matt Millard. I drove him up to this contest and we got there and I walk in and Tommy Guerrero, Bryce Knights, Don Fisher, Camden Scott, all the old CBS heads were there. And these are all guys I grew up skateboarding in the skateboard parks with. And they're like, what are you doing? I'm like, oh man, I fucking drove this kid up here. He's going to fucking enter. Where is he? He got cold feet and didn't want to enter. So they're like, well, just take his spot. I'm like, all right. So I entered and I got second place. And it just threw me right back into skateboarding. I started skating a lot. Got hooked up with everybody back up in the city, all my old friends. And I got sponsored. Don Fisher got me my first sponsor, Blockhead Skateboards.
Wow.
And Fausto Vitello, I had always rode indies my whole life. I went to him in Thrasher and said, hey man, I'm going to get kicked out of my house if I don't get a job. And he's like, well, come back tomorrow and we'll take care of you.
He always had a plan.
He put me in the office typing, mind you, I can't type, mail order labels for the
magazines and subscriptions?
Yeah. So I'm in there fucking pecking away for like a day and they're like, yeah, you get the fuck out of here. Go to the mail room. So I went and started working in the mail room at Thrasher. And that was my door back in.
Oh shit.
At that time, I started competing a lot, traveling around. I picked up some more sponsors. And it came a time at one point, I think I dropped out of school after a while. I was like, fuck it.
Oh, out of Skyline?
Yeah, I'm done with college. I'm just going to skate. And I remember Venture had a small team, so I was riding Ventures. So trying to, weasel your way into an ad.
That's what everybody did back in the day, too. Everybody.
And Steve Rocco was running the team. And Rocco split to go do SMA and World Industries, but pre-World Industries SMA, I think. And I went to Fausto and said, let me run the team. And he said, Sure. With a typical Fausto, with a catch. You're going to run the team,
But
you're going to do the sales, you're going to run the whole company.
oh shit. He did it all.
So I'll never forget it. They put me in a room with a telephone, with a list of people, distributors to call, with a price sheet that was typed out. And I sat in a room for years by myself, calling distributors, making sales for Venture. I started doing the ads, just got fully integrated into the whole business.
That mind you, pre how tech it is now.
Yes.
What year is
And
it?
we're talking version 2. I was riding version 2s of Ventures.
What year was this?
86 maybe?
Wow.
86, 87. And we brought Venture from the number 4 or 5 truck at the time. In the course of a few years, we brought it up to the number 2 truck.
Oh wow.
So it was Indy and Venture for a long, long time, neck and neck, back and forth. Indy always had a really big following and still does.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, that's how I ended up in the industry.
Right. So so Venture was like the first.
That was my first
entry,
way in.
like, yeah, the entry level. So what led to you getting to a level and starting to think?
So while I was doing Venture, I told Fausto we needed to do a board company. And at that time, they were doing the mag and the trucks, and we were also doing. I did a lot of the test riding for Spitfire in the beginning, the wheels, and we were working on making a wheel factory. And Fausto and Eric Swinson were very cautious about stepping on their advertisers' toes,
Right.
and tried to be as cautious as you could be with that. But I kept pushing them. Let's do a board company. Let's do a board company. So at the time, this is back when concaves were the thing, and I was researching, starting to work on a concave, and we did a company. We built the shell of the company, and the company was called Real Deal Incorporated.
Wow.
So we had a logo, we had a name, Real Skateboards. Not very many people know this.
You're the one that originated it.
So that was we had a company, we had it set up, we had the show, we had it all done, corporation. While we were doing that, Jim Muir had approached Fausto and told those guys, hey, I'm trying to get a partner for Dogtown.
That's when they brought it up here to SF, yeah.
We changed directions. We invested our money and bought half of Dogtown and moved it up to San Francisco and brought Jim up to San Francisco.
Man, Red Dog.
So Red Dog came up to San Francisco and we did Dogtown together for a period of time.
What was that, 88, 89?
Yeah, because 80, yeah. And then while we were doing Dogtown with Jim, it was that's when the industry was changing. Embarcadero kicked off, street skating was blowing up.
That's another point I was going to get to. Is,
Yeah.
because that's when I met you. It was that era, because my uncle was roller skating through Embarcadero. James Kelch was talking shit to him, said some shit, man. He didn't expect my uncle to double back and start chopping up with him and shit. And then
Big Dirty.
yeah, Big Dirt. And then next weekend, my uncle dropped me off with James.
Yeah.
And then like not too long after that is when I met you. So I got to meet everybody right away.
That was a pivotal point in skateboarding, and those guys, we should all owe homage to all those guys.
Right. Yeah. That
They
days is
changed
crazy.
it, and skateboarding changed overnight. It went from vert to street overnight, and it was a changing of the guards. Rocco was coming in, the Big Five was slowly
Getting broken away.
broken up, but skateboarding changed. And while we were doing that, it was a struggle with Dogtown at that time. They had an amazing team. They had an amazing,
Wow, huge team.
I mean,
Sick ass team.
fuck, dude. Eric Dressen, Scott Oster, Murray was there.
All the OGs, and then they had the Bear.
Big Ben.
Yeah, Schroeder was sick.
there. Wade Spire,
Wade, yeah.
Cardiel. So we had an amazing skateboard team. It was just a struggle with an old brand. So I had an idea of doing a board company. Our idea was, the beginning was no pros.
Right.
Just local kids, just amateurs. That changed pretty quick in the middle of it, in the beginning of it too. But we started it. At that time, we had got Greg Carroll to come on board to help me with Venture, because I'm still doing Venture sales and marketing, but doing the team was going to be tough while doing all this other stuff. So we brought Greg in. Greg was, reluctantly, if you listen to some of his podcasts, he's got a different story on it, but he reluctantly came on board to do Venture and ran the team. And we were starting to think with, some local kids, Sam Smythe,
Nick Lockman,
Carl. Those were, Adam, Jason Adams.
Yeah, I remember Jason Adams. He had the pink hair. Yeah.
So we were going to call it Move. And we were all, that was probably me.
Dancing.
Pushing that down people's throat. But Nick Lockman showed up one day back in the fucking 80s, man, the 70s and the 80s, when you would go buy produce at the fucking produce market, it would have these fluorescent paper stickers like Think Fresh Produce.
Right.
And he had a fucking Think
on his board.
On the bottom. He had peeled off somewhere and it was on the bottom. We should call it Think. And I was like, damn.
That's crazy because, I remember that era too because I was around when y'all started that with those kids.
Yeah.
I remember to get the boards. And then, I remember, Chris, I can't remember. It's Chris Dunn. How I remember all of the E&B dudes would have all the stickers and they peel up the buses and shit like that. All the crazy sticker jobs and shit. But yeah, let's go back to you talking about, the thing shit with, all the kids and shit.
So Nick had this sticker. We should call it Think. And I jumped in my car. And I drove to Thrasher, which was like 6 blocks down. Our warehouse was up on Yosemite Street. And Ken McGuire used to work for Thrasher Magazine.
I remember that guy.
And I went in and I said, we're going to call it Think Skateboards, and we're going to rip off Nike, the Just Do It. We're going to take the fucking logo that they got, this vertical, and we're going to put a fucking light bulb in it. And literally in 10 minutes, he did the fucking logo.
Damn.
The first one was a light bulb.
Yeah, I remember that.
And that was it. I came back and was like, this is what we're doing. And they were all hyped. We did the Safest Milk board with the Lost Children.
Yeah, that board was sick. I remember that.
So I think that board ended up in the Smithsonian Institute for Modern Art.
You still got some of those?
I didn't. Man, I went through Stink for almost 15 years, and I kept so little of a board collection.
Wow.
Because we turned over so much art. We had some amazing artists.
Speak on that. You had crazy artists now that are like
Mike Fish,
exactly. Fucking
Doug
amazing.
Cunningham,
Jason
Noto. Both those guys are in New York.
Man.
Super successful.
Yeah, because that's how,
successful. Jeremy's killing it.
Yeah, that's how I met all those guys, just through you back in the day doing art for you, and then about the other brands you started like when y'all was doing Adrenaline.
So we did a lot of stuff under the umbrella. Eventually, Think got pretty big. We broke off from Dogtown really quick. And Fausto and Eric and myself went and took Think, and Jim took Dogtown back. He stayed up here in San Francisco for a little while, doing his thing, and then he moved back down to Venice.
He had Wing Ding on the team.
Wing Ding. All those guys from E&B.
Yeah, all the E&B dudes run for fucking Dogtown for a minute.
Yeah, because we were just trying to.
That's crazy. That was my inspiration of me doing a company, shit like that, is seeing that, growing up seeing that. Because I started out here in the Bay Area. And then right after I started skating, my mom moved to Texas. And then that was a culture shock. That was definitely a culture shock going from coming from here is all super hood, motherfuckers couldn't understand what I was saying half the time. And then y'all and all that and howdy, and then you see the fucking hats, yeah. But then the skate scene out there, it was here in the Bay Area, it was tight. Every little town had their tight skate scenes, and then everybody would do zines and it would push the small brands. When y'all started coming up, it was pushing the small brands.
There was a time in skateboarding, which it is kind of again. I mean, there's how many bedroom skateboard companies are there now? I listened into a podcast last night, and they were saying that that 600 bedroom companies.
There is a lot.
There's probably 1,000.
Yeah, there's so many. And everybody now thinks they're doing something new.
Right.
But they're just the cycle's coming back around a few times.
You touched on our artists at Think. We put out some amazing art at Think Skateboards. That's one thing I'm very proud of. And the boards that I did keep, that I have on my wall, really reflect a lot of that. You know what I mean?
That's right.
A lot of the artwork. But skateboarding now, I look at graphics now versus that era, the 90s and early 2000s. I mean, all the companies put out some tremendous artwork.
Oh yeah, definitely. So, and then that's actually when the shit was changing from the big five, where they were graphics were motherfuckers were running the same graphics for
Yeah,
centuries and shit.
We were changing board graphics about every 90 days minimum.
Yeah, no.
Every 3 months, you basically had to break out with a whole new line. And it was taxing, man. I mean, our art department.
But man, you work them motherfuckers to the bone.
I don't know how they put up with me. I mean,
Well, but dude, look, dude, well, think about it. Like, that coming to your fucking building, that's what built their fucking, like, you know what I'm saying, their structure.
all those guys were amazing artists before they came to my
of course.
place.
But
you know,
they learned the business part of it.
You know, some of them maybe.
Exactly.
They're all very successful.
How'd you come across most of them?
Man, well, Doug, I knew Doug from graffiti. Not that I didn't do graffiti.
Oh, Doug One,
Yeah, Doug One was in TMF.
With Dean.
My buddy Dean
Coppola. I know Dean, the photographer. I met him in Alameda.
So Dean and I were really good friends, and I met all the TMF guys through him.
Wow, hold on. Sorry to cut you off. That was another major point where me and you got tighter when you found out we knew each other. Man, you were like, that's one of my old friends.
Dude,
me
and Dean have been, we were best friends for many years. So back up, the Think Tag logo, everyone's like, where'd it come from? Disc from TMF did it on a fucking cocktail napkin. And I blew it up on a Xerox machine, and that's why it got pixelated.
Yeah.
So the edges were all rough. It was done with a Sharpie on a cocktail napkin. Our original logo.
I learned a lot because, like, when I was, going back then, and y'all started to think, when I was in high school, I was in the media academy at Fremont High, and in order for me to graduate, I had to do an internship. So I was the first intern at SLAP. I had met Kevin Thatcher out skating and being around and shit in Barcadero or whatever. And then that was another, you start seeing me more, and you were always like, how the fuck this little kid keeps getting in? Like, he's like working his way in, and like, how the fuck? And like,
showing up in all these crazy places.
Man, yeah. And then, like, you know what I mean? That was a crazy era for me. And then, like, all right, so like, people don't really realize you also was a major part of the street skating, the change of it with the size of boards.
Yeah, you know, I contribute all that to the writers. You know what I mean? Writers always brought all the ideas. Lowering the venture truck, Javante Turner, that came from him.
Wow.
We did a lot of things that we didn't really get credit for. When small wheels were small, ours were the smallest. You know what I mean?
Right. I remember the 39s, 38s.
When people were riding, when boards went from 10 inches to 9 was the street standard, we made 8s and 7.5s.
Yeah.
And we did a lot of stuff that we didn't produce a lot of numbers of, so people just didn't see it in such a global standpoint.
Yeah,
we did a lot of things first. That didn't come from me. That came from the writers.
Listening to them, yeah.
And really, Greg Carroll was instrumental in that. Greg Carroll was a great team manager.
Man, amazing team manager, dude.
He came on to Think Skateboards, and we made him a partner. We also made Don Fisher a partner. So the original owners of Think Skateboards is me, Eric Swinson, and Fausto Vitello.
Right.
We then brought on Don Fisher, and then we brought on Greg. Greg was working for us, but we actually made him a partner.
Right. That's man. I remember that shit too. And then like, man, jeez, I'm just sitting tripping off like the whole changing, like the trucks, like the whole change of adventure trucks, the board sizes, and like you guys showed me, like me being around that showed me how to come up with my own graphics and not worry about, you know what I'm saying? Like you showed me how to wiggle and figure it out.
You know, the nice thing about skateboarding is that the era that we came, definitely my era of skateboarding was a don't give a fuck era.
Which influenced my era for sure.
And, when you got into the 90s, it definitely got a little bit more sensitive.
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, it did. At first like that, yeah.
I think, one of the best parts about skateboarding is the freedom of being able to express yourself. What drew me to become a skateboarder is I'm an only child with no father. So I didn't play team sports. So I had to figure out something I could do for me,
right,
by myself. And I'll tell you I picked up a skateboard. My first skateboard I got when I was in first grade. I was 6 years old. Crazy. I still own it.
That's what's up.
I still have my first.
Where'd you grow up and find skateboarding?
So I'm a native San Franciscan. I'm born and raised in San Francisco. My mom moved to San Mateo when I was in second grade. We lived in San Mateo for I think a year or two, and we moved to Pacifica. I was in third or fourth grade. My mom, who had me when she was 18, was very young. my grandparents lived in the city. So during the week, I would stay Monday through Friday in the city.
Grandparents,
Or
yeah.
in Pacifica, and then weekends in San Francisco. So Camden Scott, who
He was rad. The raddest dude, the most sweetest dude ever. I
mo-
always remember my little ass, even though for years
Hey.
I couldn't remember his fucking name.
the Camden Scott was a fucking amazing.
Well, yeah, he like took me under his wing too. All you guys was crazy, like all how you guys took me under your wing. Like, let's talk about like how hip hop. How'd you bring like the hip hop into skateboarding? Because it was really like a lot of punk rock.
So it was all punk rock, and I was fully into hip hop from the beginning. Dean introduced me to a lot of hip hop when it first
Dean's the
started coming out.
illest. Dean's the illest.
And
Amazing photographer.
That's also a time when, you're talking about me being in my early 20s, 20, 21.
I'm really finding yourself.
Yeah, and I'm out in the city, and I used to go to this club, Mr. Fives. It was like the first real true hip hop club in San Francisco on Rose Street.
Everybody's a follower.
It's turned over so many times.
Yeah.
I mean, everything's comes back around, but hip hop was big, and what was great about it is it was anti-establishment.
Yeah, definitely was. And then also you was an integral part of the race scene back in your leather vest and the silver chain days, man. You know what I'm saying?
It's funny because when the rave scene came on, we were still
Everybody in the rave scene was wearing think shit first.
We were really, really big with that. Greg Carroll and myself probably at any given time on any given weekend in the Bay Area, if there was a rave going on, some underground warehouse, something going on, we were there.
Man.
Fausto used to get so mad at us. Fucking guys are fucking out all night. But we would be fucking out at a rave all night long and then show up to work the next morning.
Sweaty and fucking
fucked up and pinned and.
And then I remember running to you guys at raves and shit, and I was hella young, and you guys would be like, what the fuck are you doing here? And then I remember my first sponsor, when I got sponsored by Pernici, I got that fucking ad, and I remember your guys like, how the fuck your little ass fucking weasel this? And I was like, man, my mouthpiece. And then so you introduced me, I thought about it, you introduced me to a lot of the famous people I first met from the trade shows, like House of Pain dudes, fucking the Booyah Tribe guys, fucking all the LA dudes, the Venice dudes. This guy, he was like, yo, it's like my little brother right here, he cool. Oh, Oakland's in the house. Oh shit, here comes Oakland. And now it's to be like the shit. And I remember when you see me when Fausto took me, started having a eye for me now, because I want to talk about him. That's another talking point. I was like, when he started having a little eye for me, wanted to, see I had my charisma and shit. You were one of the dudes, Joey Terche, were one of the dudes that actually backed that happening. You know what I'm saying? You, especially you enjoy, because when they left to start Empire and all that shit, a lot of people don't understand, they don't know, I dealt with a lot of shit, and you were right there with me when the passing of that shit.
That was a weird time when those, everything kind of splintered apart, and those guys went off and did Empire and Force Trucks, which was...
Yeah, and the dude made him... Gotta
guy.
call you out, Ears, nigga. You made that shit while you were still working at Venture, and we found that shit.
Ears is a good man.
No, I love Ears. No, he's had the best switch tails on transition I've ever seen.
That kid can skate, and people didn't know it. He's
Like a
lazy
motherfucker.
He can skate.
Like a
He
motherfucker.
can definitely skate. No, you think about all the people that came through our house. He was a great guy, man.
Yeah, I love Justin.
He's
He's back in the Bay Area too.
Yeah.
I love Justin. Shout out to Ears, my man. And back to Fausto, that shit was dope. Tell me some stuff about Fausto. How people might probably don't know. That dude, he was hard.
Fausto was extremely hard, and it was I joke with his son Tony a lot. I go, you didn't get I got the backhand. You got
Me too.
You didn't get the fucking full wrath like I did. He used to just obliterate me,
Dude,
on the regular. And the thing about Fausto is a lot of people don't realize my connection for Fausto goes even deeper. Fausto and my biological father,
oh wow,
were childhood friends. So when Fausto first moved here, he didn't speak English.
Oh, so your dad helped that fool learn how to speak English. Wow.
Yeah, and I was reunited with my father at 28.
Wow.
From childhood, I didn't know him, and then
So
28.
it's crazy. That's kind of similar to my situation with him too. Is I had just lost my grandpa, And
I lost my grandfather.
I had lost my grandpa, and I was around all of the dudes, and I was just like, I was like on a fucking warpath. And I don't give a fuck, I'll bring it up. I was homeless, going through all this shit hustling, and I came up on a fucking free kilo of cocaine. And I was like homeless. I had started my own board company in like 99, 2000, around the same time as they started DGK. And when I figured out through some rollerblading friends in Alameda skate park, where Girl in Chocolate was getting their fucking wood from, and this fool, he was too, and he found out, like, because a lot of people don't know, you are the first one that was getting sourcing shit from China for skateboarding and shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And like, this motherfucker's like, how the fuck you find out? And I found the shit on a fluke. And then, like, you know what I mean? Like, before he like bowed out is when Fausto started bringing me around more. Because I remember we were at the trade show at the Embassy Suites. It was the Embassy Suites. You remember
Someone was
that?
talking about that the other day.
I was in the dashiki.
So you know where that came from, right? So the hip hop clothing companies, it blew up, got real big, and then it shrunk up. And
Right.
the urban market was shrinking up, but it was still, there was all these hip hop clothing stores, right? Well, a friend of mine in LA who was big in the clothing business, who worked for P Diddy for their clothing company, and he goes, yeah, man, we do these trade shows at Embassy Suites. And I was like, really? Why? And he's like, well, think about it. There are 2 rooms, so everybody gets a room.
We get all
They
green
stay
room,
in the
yeah.
back. They put all their product in the front, and then you got happy hour. It's
It was
free
the
fucking
illest
booze.
shit. It was the illest shit.
Free booze.
What about like 4 to 6 floors?
Dude, we had, I think, 2 floors solid, and they would never let us back in that.
Fuck no, dude. Like
We destroyed that place.
I came from. I had flew in my two best friends, my cousin and my best friend Zach. Zach's grandma had passed. I had went back to. I had quit hustling for a while because I had to help my mom in North Carolina. 2004, I remember it. And I come back and I'm wearing that purple dashiki with the fucking. I'm all fucking pro black looking braids and shit. I come into the trade show, got my boards. Like the first boards I got from fucking PGI, which was the company that one of the first company to import export China shit. And I'm like in there, and I'm like going to everybody's fucking room, like just Fausto and this dude and Fausto and watching me fucking move through everybody's fucking rooms. And I'm in the back of somebody else's. I'm hustling boards out the back of these motherfuckers' rooms. I was like, fuck getting a booth. They only need a booth. And I'm like,
All you needed was a room. It was
right.
$200, and you had your own booth.
Yeah, and I didn't know that. I didn't pick. But he just like, this fool don't even know this shit. And I'm like, just feng shuiing through the whole shit. And I got a big ass board order out of that one.
It was a great fucking time. It didn't cost anybody money. ASRs were, we would go to ASR and it was $10,000 just for the booth space.
Dude, man,
And
ASR era was crazy.
And then we'd have to grease all the big Samoans to get all our shit in.
Yo, all right, fuck. You know what? Part of the reason why the Samoans always, bro, I used to get away with murder that motherfucker. I'd be
They were
smoking
great.
blunts in that
And
motherfucker.
all
All
that
the
came
Booyah
from
tribes,
Scotland.
they were
Yeah,
all
Booyah
Booyah
tribes.
tribes homies, dude. And they always thought I was fucking like Samoan. They thought I was loose or some shit, so they let me slide, bro. I remember the right before you left thing when we did that one trade show where I was walking through. Me and my cousin came with hella weed. And I was walking through with a little man bag, a little chocolate man bag with a hella weed. And this was like, dude, get the fuck out my booth. You stinking it up. Get out my booth. He's like, dude, it smells like fucking pounds of weed in this motherfucker. And it was like, I was like, man, how you think I'm paying for my trip?
Yeah.
And he's laughing. And then he was laughing. He goes, you look like the fucking Pied Piper. You walking around, there's like trails of people following you everywhere. And dude, end of the trade show, like I need some truck. Let me get this. And I always do that. I learned this, like, they taught me how to hustle the trade show. They're like, yo, you set it up on Saturday, then come Sunday, ain't nobody trying to pack their shit up.
Sell it all.
Sell it all, you give it away.
That's it.
This fool was selling this shit. Him and Greg, like, man,
Sell the whole fucking booth, don't bring it home.
don't bring shit on. And then so once Fausto took me in, he introduced me to everybody as his black son. Yo, this is my black son, Jamie. And everybody said, like, all the OGs in the industry, they call me like, oh, Fausto's black son.
So Fausto was a real tough man, but you don't realize what the soft part of him.
Yeah, and I got to see that. Like
you mentioned your grandfather passed away. So my grandfather was my biggest influence as a
mine too, yeah.
And he passed away. He worked for us. He worked for us at Dogtown.
Sick.
He worked for Real, packaging up all the U-bolts.
Sick.
He did all the packaging.
Wow.
So my grandfather worked for me. My grandfather passed away. There was nobody. there was nobody crying
Yeah.
harder than that.
I bet, dude.
That fool cried so fucking loud, he made me cry.
So, we talk about that shit because like, Fausto became like my father. Because I didn't grow up with my father in the house either. So I feel you on that shit too. And like, I caught a lot of flack. You remember, I caught a lot of flack when he passed. A lot of people don't know. Like, I caught so much flack. And like, I can say it to you, you already know. Like when you brought up about how Tony didn't catch the wrath of that motherfucker.
I'm sure he did. He used to
But not like, I was like one of the last of that shit. Because it's like you had to have a tough ass skin to deal with him and Jake.
Yeah.
And like, everybody was like, dude, why does he show you all this? And everybody thought he was giving me fucking money. Or like helping me out. Yeah. Like you knew, like you were nobody, they never helped me out. But I was just there out of love and respect because he was there. It was me and his love for muscle cars. When he found out I knew about muscle cars and history, it really fucking like, he was like, oh, this little motherfucker is smarter than everybody thought.
Fossil was a very intelligent guy too.
Super intelligent.
He knew a lot about a lot of different things.
Engineering, mechanics and shit. Like, dude, I remember he was like, after when I got that, the cocaine shit, like he was like, yo, why the fuck are you living out of your car? Like I was like going and, smoking weed outside in my minivan, and he stuck his head in there, like, and I was, doing some blow, whatever. And then I was being respectful because I don't know what to do in the house. They had this beautiful fucking mansion. So anyway, he come in stuck his head in my car and like, what the fuck? It's like you live in this motherfucker. Why the fuck you live in this van? I'm like, Pops, man, like,
the way it is.
Why pay for an apartment when I'm hustling and like I'm going back and forth, Chico here, and I had dope spots. So nobody knew I had dope spots, and that's why and I started my company homeless. I was homeless. I dare that same uncle that introduced me to James Kelch. Oh, you can't start a skateboard company homeless. Man, I went and bought an ounce of weed. I had this girl bought an ounce of motherfucking weed. Me and my buddy Squirrel, Arrow, fucking went sold this ounce of weed. And I went and they had. Remember that wood company used to be here in Oakland, Comet?
Oh, yeah.
That made longboards?
Yeah.
That's impressed my first board. I went and bought like 20, 30 boards. I was like, I want the city of Oakland. They moved back, they got all that money from the city of Oakland, got the equipment, and moved back to Ithaca, New York. Yeah. Those dudes are rad though. They taught me a lot too, but like, you guys taught me a lot. But anyway, back to the Fausto thing is like, the dude was so sweet. Like, but he ran his ship like the fucking mafia.
Yeah, 100%. Well, that with Think Skateboards, going back to it, that was our mantra. We're gonna run it like a gang. So we're gonna be our goal was to be big in our backyard.
Right, y'all did
so
that.
So if you're big in your backyard, then you're big in the next backyard, and the next one, and the next one. So, and we ran it like a gang. That was kind of our mentality.
Definitely was. No, it definitely influenced me. Damn, that's
I don't know if that was good or bad.
I mean, well, the way skateboarding is now, that's why there's no fucking loyalty, I think, too, because, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not no loyalty, like, to affect how it was back in the day. You know what I mean?
I just think kids are different. I mean,
yeah.
Kids now grew up on video games, instant gratification. Things are just different. You know what I mean?
Sure,
like, we grew up in an era where...
That's mad. That's crazy that you say it like that.
History mattered to us.
Right. The legacy. Yeah. The legacy passed it on.
So, things are just, it's just different. It's just different. It's funny, as I get older, I joke, I'm a grumpy old man now.
You've been saying that. You've been saying that.
Because things have changed so much, and I can't stand change. But at the same time, watching, today skateboarding is fucking gnarlier than it's ever been.
Oh, it's crazy.
And you know what I'm jazzed about? Is female skateboarders.
Yo.
Female skateboarders have gotten so good.
Man.
And I'm so stoked and so stoked to watch it.
I love to see the ones that's pushing the envelope, like really pushing it, like they're like really pushing the envelope like more than the girls. Because I remember when I first started seeing female skaters, like Pal video, like Cara Beth Burnside, they had a couple of street skating chicks. But like now, like man, I remember you had Jessica Krause.
Dude, Jessica.
Did Amy Carone come to you too?
No.
No, she didn't. But she was like some of them was Jessica Krause was gnarly.
Jessica Krause skated like a dude.
And she would take slams
hard.
Like, and get back the fuck up, bust her skull open, lip,
and talk hella shit to everybody.
Hella shit.
She would talk hella shit. But
also he had a little person pro skater, Pancho Moeller, who's now a big actor. Yo,
yeah.
Little Romeo was the funniest.
That was a different Pancho Muller.
Yeah, but that was
We don't talk about that.
Yeah, we don't talk about that part. Yeah, yo, and then
Pancho doing comedy.
Yo, I know, I seen that.
Yeah.
I seen that. He was in the Rob Zombie movies. He's a little man, the little person in the Rob Zombie movies.
Pancho's
I remember he had the Honda Accord with the fucking pedals when he was riding with you guys. When he got a car, he had a car for a little bit, bro. He had the little pedals in there, bro. And I remember when he was in San Jose. I remember that, and like, I was like, damn, he was determined.
But you remember, nothing disrespectful by this comment, but do you remember when girl skaters skated in the 90s and 2000s? I could always tell a girl skater by her style. It was like it was very different.
Right.
I'm definitely noticing that there has been a change in the dynamics of female skaters and their style.
Yeah.
Dude, I am blown away. There is some amazing talent. I mean,
Man, like, no, I just don't like
general.
this. I don't like the separatism, all the sections, you know, the seculars, the difference, you know.
people are fucking people, man.
Well, it is, but it's like, you know, let's promote skateboarding.
Yeah.
Not, you know, your sexuality. Let's promote personality, not just sexuality. That's always been my thing.
Well, I mean,
but it's a marketing tool now.
You're becoming an old man.
No, and deal with that, and that's when you said that, you made me realize that. That's why I brought it up and said that shit. But when I see these motherfuckers, their skateboarders talking, that's what I love to see.
Yeah. You know, it's funny because you're at that point in your life. You're going to be 47.
Yeah, I'm 47 now. Yeah, let me know how I am.
You've seen things in your lifetime.
I've seen different cycles of skateboarding.
Right, and cycles of just
life.
People.
Yeah.
People now, at this particular time in the world, there's so much stress and so much anguish going on, and people are so fucking sensitive.
Yeah, about everything.
No,
it's
definitely. Like, you really got to be very
hypersensitive. Yeah,
very
you got to watch your words. No, you do.
You have to watch your words. You have to watch how
cancel culture and all
yes.
that. And I've dealt with the cancel culture a couple times too. Like, but the thing is, it's like I don't want to promote that. I'm saying I just want to. It's skateboarding. That's all. My whole thing is let's talk about skateboarding.
You know, it's funny that there was a time in skateboarding when core was core, and anything outside of it was fuck you, right?
Right.
And so fucking no longboards, fuck that. That's fucked up.
You know, it's much more accepting for everything now.
Now, getting back to this very sensitive community, it also has kind of bridged the gap for everything to become a little bit more homogenized.
And I do
there's some good things about it.
No, there's a lot of good things about it.
There's a lot of good things about it.
There's a lot of good things about it. It also makes people think broader. I'll give that to that point. I definitely no, because you see shit now. People have definitely in the skateboarding looking at shit from a different point of view.
Yeah,
a lot of the old grumpy people like now it's more accepted. Like think about how a lot of these grumpy old legend dudes are coming back, living off their past. Dude, some of them are skating still, like Ron.
Have you watched the M-Men movie that just came out?
I want to go see that one.
It just came out on Prime. Amazon.
I'm about to watch it tonight.
You can go home tonight and fucking stream that shit. It's fucking dope because. It's an era that I grew up with.
Right. You were my introduction to all those dudes too.
To see those guys that are still skating, you know, Randy Caton.
Yeah, Randy Caton. All those dudes, all those fish, all those dudes are shit.
They're all still doing it, and it's fucking dope because but it also what I'm getting at is, slalom skateboarding. Come on, I would have fucking laughed that shit out the door.
Right.
It's big again.
Wow.
And it's dope, but there's a lane for it.
It's the same thing like freestyle. And
yeah,
shit.
there's a lane for it.
Yeah, and I mean, I love all that. Like, I love that because when you look back in history, how vert skating, street skating,
so segregated.
Like, you know what I'm saying? And then like, I come to the era where motherfuckers learn how to skate everything.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then you had to go. But the era I was in, you had to go search out for ramps or shit to transition to skate. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't everywhere. You know what I mean? Until, you know, now it's like, I think the skate parks too are like a fucking babysitting pen.
Well, it's also, you know, I was real excited when the skate park phenomenon kind of blew up and they were starting to build them all around the country, and it wasn't just Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
It was what I kept. I remember me and Stesic talking about it. I said, "Man, wait till you see the next generation of fucking kids. They're going to be all-terrain vehicles."
Dude, it's insane.
And that first crop of kids, I mean, like Raven.
Yeah.
Dude.
No, it's
fucking amazing.
Insane.
You know what I mean? Like, and so the progression of skateboarding is continually getting better. They are babysitting pins. Yeah. I will tell you, I used to take Junior down there and dump his ass off and go, I'll come back later.
Speaking of that, people, you never really talk about it. People don't know how much of a family man you are, your fatherhood. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that part of you too, I have a huge respect for you.
I got 2 beautiful kids. I have a boy, Keith Jr. I get emotional on this shit, dude.
No, I know. I'm loving this shit, dude. I'm loving this shit. Because, like, what I'm saying, like, that's another thing. Like, Fausto was such a rad father to, you know what I'm saying? To a point in our eyes. We don't know that being at home with him like that much, you know what I'm saying?
I used to see him at home.
No, I know. Me too, but not as much.
So to speak on, I have 2 kids. I have Keith Jr., who's 29 years old, and I have a daughter, Taylor, who's 24.
God damn, I'm old.
She just turned 24.
I remember I used to have to, like, this fool made me, like, watch the kids when they go out for whatever they were doing for a little bit. And, like,
my kid still skates. I mean, fucking, he's good.
like, dude, no, it's rad. Like, and, like, since you know what I mean? Like, when the way you fucking, you know,
I was
retired from skateboarding, though, like,
I'm a hard dad. I'm sure
No, I know
you
you were a dick.
Yeah.
You were a dick, but you grew a lot though.
Yeah.
You and you know what I'm saying, as you grew,
mellow as you get older.
Bro, I remember seeing your punk ass dude, like the big ass Dodge Ram truck, the dually thing with the fucking like 4 fucking just racked out fucking 4-wheelers for fucking hunting, and like the
Still do
fuck, and like I was always tripped like what the I'm hunting fool. I'm hunting, and I'm like,
yeah, it's always been my biggest passion was hunting. I've done it my whole life, and
this has been a Bay Area. We don't see a lot of people.
No, you don't.
You know what I'm saying?
It was funny because my grandfather was, like I said, was from San Francisco, but we, my great grandfather and my grandfather were on a ranch up in Mendocino that I'm still a member of.
Wow.
And my son is. So we have 5 generations of my family that have been on this ranch up in Mendocino. Hunting's been a part of my life and my family's life from day one.
Wow.
And my grandfather subsistence hunted during the Depression.
Wow.
So they had that necessity.
And that's how my grandparents too in North Carolina. Like my grandma was cockeyed, held big thick glasses, like, you know what I'm saying? But grandma Molly was a shit, dude. Like, she was killing squirrels. Like, you gotta be a motherfucker killing squirrels to eat. Like, and the shit they ate back in that time of the Depression too, like, they would eat animals like, you like, what the fuck?
Anytime I think about someone killing and eating a squirrel, I think of David Kane from South Shore Distribution. You squirrel eating motherfucker. Like,
hey, you remember when Swenson used to call me fucking Fidel? Like, Fidel. Oh, he's the enemy. He's the enemy. Like, I didn't realize me doing hustle, like Fausto and all that. Like, you helped me fucking realize it too. He goes, yo, you know your competition, motherfucker. They still see you as competition.
Hey,
you know what I'm saying? And I was like,
those 2 old dudes, they didn't get, you know, they did very, very well in skateboarding, and we owe, skateboarding owes a lot to them.
yeah. Like when I went to the NXS, like the Independent Museum, like the Independent Trucks Museum.
Yeah.
How when skateboarding died,
they
started making roller skate trucks and like
you own some of those independent roller skate base plates. Those are fucking worth some money.
Fucking cash. Stupid
People
cash.
don't realize that Ermico, the first truck they made was a stroker, and it was a skateboard truck that it turned independently.
Had suspension, basically full
Yeah, it
suspension.
had springs, and it turned, all 4 wheels turned. Impossible to fucking ride. I ate shit on those fucking things. And then they made the rebound truck, which was the first Kingpin truck that they made, and then from that turned it independent.
That's good. The history of that's crazy. Is insane. Let's talk about, you know, going through this shit, thinking about it. Like, man, you're bowing out skateboarding, man. You like did that shit real eloquently to me.
I was so stressed out. It was important, and I needed to make a change in my fucking life. To be quite honest, I was drinking, snorting, smoking, eating, whatever the fuck you put in front of me,
right,
because my whole lifestyle was partying.
Yeah.
Because I was traveling around the world for skateboarding.
Yeah.
My whole fucking life was partying and living out of a fucking duffel bag.
Right.
And it needed to stop. And I knew that I was starting to get a little older, and I needed to make a change for me.
That's good.
Yeah, no, and I, you know, seeing that with you really, like, you know, like, you've been through a lot. Like, people don't realize how big Think was. Or just, like, that whole shit. How big of a situation, I realize now how, you know, big that situation was. Like, I didn't really think, nothing of it. You know what I'm saying?
We were also at a point in skateboarding, there was a point in skateboarding during the 70s and 80s into the 90s where every skateboard that was made worldwide came from California.
Yeah, wow.
There was no East Coast companies.
Right.
There was no companies anywhere.
Right.
And every fucking skateboard in the world was made out of hard rock maple veneer that came from the Great Lakes in Vermont.
Right.
So there was a handful of wood companies that made skateboards, and there was a changing. And when things changed, skateboarding changed. You
Right.
know, but it's think what we were at a time when there was a lot of bigger companies.
Yeah.
So I mean, to know how we were a big company.
Yeah, well,
We're
right now, because technology and social media definitely like level the playing field.
You want to hear something funny? For Christmas, my son bought a fucking Think skateboard on eBay. A Pat Duffy board, which was one of the graphics that I probably would have not put on my wall.
Right. The one with the chick on the fucking airplane?
No, the one with the chick, the bowling chick.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah, that was
So he bought, which was a mini, he bought it, got a hold of Pat, sent it to Pat, Pat signed it and sent it back.
Yo, you know what's crazy?
Yes, I was one of the first few to bring stuff in from China.
Yeah.
And, we were bringing stuff in from China, and I could see that was really
Detrimental.
going to fuck skateboarding up.
Yeah.
Because, in good and bad, right? So,
Right, no.
So, what China's done for skateboarding, people probably don't even pay attention to, is the company that is in France doesn't have to get their boards from the United States.
Right, and it's cheaper.
They can get their boards from Asia.
And the shipping,
right.
shipping is the shipping, like the logistics of things.
Right. So logistics, and that's made things, skateboarding is a global thing. I don't ever say skateboarding is a sport. I just was talking about my wife about this last night, because my wife unfortunately has to sit and watch me listen.
Yeah, we
watch
both
everything
got,
on TV about skateboarding all the time.
Don't have shit to do with skateboarding. Or
No, and my wife was a professional athlete. She played soccer, and so she's an athlete, so she gets it. But
same my wife being a dancer, she was a professional. It was just crazy.
I tell her all the time, skateboarding is not a sport; it is a lifestyle.
And it's a fucking like a real clicky one. Like they always trip about like how people are, like. My wife always trips like, damn, everybody's just trying to kiss these certain couple people's ass all the time.
Hero worship.
Yeah, and then it's like, and then like I was saying, I've been realizing about a lot of shit. The situation I just went through. I won't say no names, give them no fucking credit. But it's like you can't meet your heroes, because when you find out about like their real life,
They're just people.
yeah, and then like they're just like the shittiest people in real life. Like I learned that in skateboarding. When I'm gonna start meeting pros, I'm like, wow, they're dick.
I don't know about you, but now that you're older, you probably have friends that have nothing to do with skateboarding. The first question anybody always asks me, I can fucking tell them before they even get out of their mouth. You know Tony Hawk?
And it's funny, like, yeah, I actually do.
I'm like, yeah, he's a great guy.
Yeah, exactly.
I've known Tony since fucking forever.
It's
crazy.
crazy.
And they're like, really? And I'm like, yeah, he's just a dude.
I was in New York one time.
Just a dude.
It's a human.
After I got out of jail that time, and I was seeing Lance Mountain. I was there with my buddy. They had a tattoo shop at LES, and we went to the House of Vans. I didn't know my buddy Matt Pike was in High on Fire. Like, was a big ass guitarist, whatever. So I'm like bugging out seeing him. But like I go to the bowl, and I see Lance Mountain with my homeboy.
So good.
He's all, "What's up, Hassel?" I'm all, "What's up, Uncle Lance?" Because like how I call like Lance, CR Stetson, my uncles.
Well, the funny thing about skateboarding is it is so fucking big, but so
fucking small. Yo.
And the other funny thing about skateboarding is it's, my wife laughs because we'll be fucking in Spain.
Yeah.
And so, hey,
you can't go nowhere. My wife says safe shit. You can't go nowhere.
The people,
You remember my birthday? How my family they were tripping, like they're talking like you were telling them like about the skateboard side of you, like even my dad, like him and my dad, rest in peace. That was another thing I loved about you. Like that's why it was always dear to me when you came to my birthday. You got to be my fucking dad, bro. Grandma, dad.
That was a good night.
Yeah, we fucking had an amazing time.
That was fun. But that's the beauty of skateboarding. And I just sent Randy Caton a message the other day to congratulate him on the N-Man movie, and I said thanks skateboarding.
Yeah. Well, so like, all right. So like, I brought up my buddy Drew here, and I was telling a lot of people, like, I even, that person that I want to name, and another person, like DJ Chavez one time told me, he's like, what have you done for skateboarding? And that always rang in my head.
I'm just a part of it.
Yeah,
I'm just a page in the book.
Yeah, but everybody acts like skateboarding owes them something, or they've done so much of skateboarding, but like, you've only done shit for yourself.
You know what's funny? I watch a lot of podcasts. I'm into it. I try to keep my finger on the pulse with skateboarding, and you see, like you mentioned, a lot of heads coming out of the depths and cracks of fucking time, reliving themselves, and people are. It's funny that everyone has this like chip on their shoulder, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and it's I did this in skateboarding, and skateboarding, like you said, like skateboarding owes them something.
Right.
No, man, we owe skateboarding something.
You get over your fucking fear for a little bit. I love you, Keith.
Love you, bro. Thank you.
That was dope.